This video it's about solving equation using the zero product property. So let's first find two numbers that multiply to 12. So what number times what number is 12? We have 1 times 12, it's 12. Negative 1 times negative 12 is 12. 3 times 4, it's 12. Negative 2 times negative 6, it's 12. And we can find some other pairs that multiply to 12. So we have a lot of choices here. Now let's see what number multiply with 5 is 0. Well, in this case, we only have one choice. 0 times 5 is 0. Now, we have two girls that are thinking of a number, and the product of the number is 0. What can be the numbers in this case? So since we know that the product is 0, then we know that Minerva numbers can be 0. So 0 times some number is 0. Or Anna's number should be 0. Minerva's number times 0 can be 0. Or both of the girls can think of 0. 0 times 0 is 0. So this is called the zero product property. So if we have a product, a multiplication that is equal to 0, then one of the numbers has to be 0. So this is called the zero product property. So now let's look at the equation 2x plus 3 equals 7. This is a linear equation because x has exponent 1. The way we solve this linear equation is by isolating x. So we will subtract the 3 both sides and divide by 2 both sides. Now, if we're looking at the second equation, we have x squared minus 5x equals 0. And this is not a linear equation. This is a quadratic equation because the exponent of x is 2. Now, we cannot isolate x in this case because we have an x squared and an x here. So we cannot isolate x. So to solve this equation, we'll be using a different method than for solving a linear equation. So I want you to keep in mind that each type of equation will have a specific procedure of solving. So for quadratic equations, the procedure is to use the zero product property. So first, we need to have a product equal to 0. So on the one side of the equation, we have to have a 0. So we already have that on the right side. Here is 0. Right, so this part of the name is fulfilled. Now the second is to have a product. Now on the left side we have a subtraction, so it's not good. We have to have a product. So to have a multiplication, we will be factoring out the left side. So if we're looking at the left side, we can factor out an x. And now we have a multiplication. So we're multiplying x with x minus 5. So based on the zero product property, each of those factors can be 0. So if the product is 0, then x can be 0, or x minus 5 should be 0. So x equals 0, it's one number, x equals a number, so that's a solution. And x minus 5 equals 0, we have to solve for x here. This is a linear equation now that we isolate x, and we get x equals 5. Let's check. Are those two numbers a solution of my equation? So if you plug in, we have 0 squared minus 5 times 0. Is that equal to 0? 0 minus 0, is that equal to 0? Yes. Let's plug in 5. 5 squared minus 5 times 5, is that equal to 0? 25 minus 25, that is equal to 0. Yes, so both numbers are solution of my equation. Now the next problem, I have parentheses x plus 3 times 2x minus 7 equals 0. So in this problem, I already have a multiplication, so I have a product equal to 0. 0 on one side and multiplication on the left side. So then we can use our zero product property and say that the first factor, x plus 3, can be 0, or the second factor, 2x minus 7 equals 0. Both of the factors are linear factors, so we will be solving by isolating x, subtract x both sides, and x equal negative 3, and add 7 both sides, divide by 2, x equals 7 over 2. And those are the solutions. Next, I have the equation x times 2x minus 5 equal 3. So on the left side, I have a product, but is this enough to use the zero product property? Well, no. On the right side, we have 3, and the zero product property requires on the right side to have 0. So we need to have 0 here. So we have to subtract 3 both sides to make 0 on the left side. So we have x times 2x minus 3 minus 5 minus 3 equals 0. And now we see here on the left side that we have a subtraction. It's not a multiplication anymore. So we have to first multiply out. So we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. And this is a quadratic polynomial, a trinomial. And now we need to have a multiplication on the left side. So we will be factoring the left side. In this case, I will be using the AC method. So we're multiplying the 2 times negative 3. That will be my product, negative 6. And the sum is negative 5. So what two numbers multiply to negative 6 and add to negative 5? That is negative 6 and 1. So we have 2x squared plus 1x minus 6x minus 3 equals 0. From the first two, I will be factoring out the x, 2x plus 1. And from the last two, we factor out the negative 3. 2x plus 1 equals 0. And now the common factor is 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1 comes out as one factor, and what's left, it's in the second parenthesis. So the second parenthesis will have x minus 3. And this product is 0. So now we have a product equals 0, and we can use the zero product property now. And we can say 2x plus 1 equals 0, or the second factor, x minus 3 equals 0. Subtract 1. 2x equal negative 1, divide by 2, x equal negative 1/2, add 3 both sides, x